I just realized most of that was muted. But again, the point I was simply making is a clear one. South Africa has descended into absolute chaos under the ANC government. If you scan the newspapers at the moment, if you scan the social media landscape, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. There is a common expression being thrown around now on these social media streets that South Africa is like a movie, or South Africa, if I'm not a movie, I mean, consider, for example, that 2 cabinet ministers and a deputy minister were held hostage and had to be rescued by the special task force to scenes in Port Elizabeth, aka Gqeberha, where the streets of that city, particularly Durban Road, has descended into sheer anarchy as taxi owners and operators and drivers seem to be pitted against foreign nationals who are operating in that area. In all cases, and more, by the way, in a country that has 50 murders a day, it would seem that the South African police services are simply unable to put a cap, a meaningful cap, on the violence in this country, on the crime in this country. A police force who, by the way, as I mentioned on last night's episode of the Big Daddy Liberty Show, are highly committed members. I've never been one to blanket suggest that the South African Police Service members are not committed to their jobs. But let's face facts. These are individuals who are working in an environment, both within SAPS and, of course, in the communities they serve, where they themselves as an organization are woefully inadequate in dealing with the challenges of the crimes that we face. Crimes, of course, that affect our lives, liberty, and our property rights. But don't take it from me. Don't listen to the crazy right-winger who just sprouts conservative talking points. Have a look at the headlines that you've been reading as a South African. Let me take you into the heart of the Cape Flats, where one story in particular really dominated the psyche of South Africans to show you just how violent things can get. Here's a headline that you probably have forgotten because of just how many of these sort of headlines we see. 3 young females shot in the head in Khayelitsha. 3 women in particular who were shot execution style in the informal settlements of Cape Town. That story was one that dominated the headlines a week or 2 ago. And again, we have no feedback on this particular story. These are just another, it almost becomes just another case of the fellow South Africans who are just gunned down and murdered in this country, and we almost not bat an eyelid at that anymore. Again, let me remind you, I'm going to go a little bit back in time as I bring you to the present to show you how things are consistently violent and deadly in this country. Another headline that I'm hoping you remember, the absolute massacre that happened once again in an informal settlement, an informal part of Mlazi, just outside Durban. That's my home township where I live. Again, a township which, if you watch the show, you'll know is going through and has descended into an ever increasingly violent state of things. I mean, you heard gunshots literally right outside my window on one evening as I was doing a broadcast on the show. A popular figure in Durban, in fact, in Mlazi, a place where I sometimes go with my friends in that part of the hood just to chill and relax. Max's Lifestyle, the place is called. The owner of that establishment, an entrepreneur who literally has built something fantastic in the hood that offers jobs, that literally uplifts the local economy. That guy, who is a service to the community, was shot. And I don't know if it was shot at or shot, I believe in the early hours either yesterday or today. Again, these are ordinary South Africans who are bearing the brunt of what is a booming crime and violent crime industry in this country. And I said these are all incidents that have happened in the recent past. You know, the shooting of the owner of Max Establishment, or Max Lifestyle, pardon me, being more recent. Another more recent spectre, one which I just saw as I was scanning through the papers. This one over here I found on the IOL website. 50 kidnapped, 50 kidnapped Ethiopians rescued in Johannesburg. One suspect, presumably, allegedly the kidnapper, taken into custody. Again, let's take a moment and listen and think about what I've just said. 50 individuals, 50 foreign nationals were kidnapped somewhere here in Lenasia in Johannesburg and held against their will. Where else does stuff like this happen other than in some of these more violent war zone regions where you often hear people are kidnapped and all sorts of terrible things happen to them? But no, this is happening here in South Africa on your back door. Maybe you are a Lenasia resident watching this now and saying, what? This happened over here? 50 people held ransom. And that particular story speaks to also the broader corrupting of South African society, as there are allegations which are currently being tested that those 50 foreign nationals themselves might even be in the country illegally. The massive problem in this country of illegal immigration, which is, yes, a massive problem. You want people to come to this country, you want people to work and to be investors in this country, but they ought to come legally. We are a country of laws. Yet in this country, we have a situation where, as might potentially be the case in this scenario, our borders are just simply porous to the point where there's absolutely no control over them at all. There is a complete breakdown in the rule of law when it comes to border security in this country and in immigration in particular. And that, of course, you then see in potential situations like these, where this could very well be even a case of human trafficking, which in and of itself is a massive, massive problem in this country. But again, don't take it from me. Don't take it from the crazy right-winger, who's just ranting in this vlog. I spoke about the streets of PE. Let me show you some visuals. I shouldn't say visuals, but rather let me show you images of what exactly I'm talking about. Each of these stills, which I've condensed into one collage, speak to what is happening in PE at the moment. You're seeing, as I said, what is currently the case, pardon me, is the alleged breakdown in the relations between taxi operators in that part of the world, specifically on Durban Road, it's reported. And of course, foreign nationals and even some shopkeepers in that part of the world who, in that middle image, you're seeing rallying, some even armed with rifles to engage on these street-level battles. That is complete and utter breakdown of the rule of law. And there, in that bottom image, with the AssHat and looking square into the camera, as he often does, because he is an attention whore, is the Minister of Police himself, Ubegi, the AssHat Tele, once again doing what he does best, which is to not actually enforce law in this country, not enforce law, nor even prepare our South African police service men and women with the adequate resources, adequate training, adequate organizational structure for them to face crime in this country. No, no, no. He doesn't deal with that, the substantive part of why he should be there. No, no. He's out there, once again, showing his mug and looking for attention, talking tough, as he usually does, pretending to be fighting crime when really he's not. If anything, he's fighting his wallet as to how much more he's going to spend on his next AssHat. That is the caliber of leadership we have in this country. That is the ANC government who you vote in this country. That is the ANC government who you vote in this country. So that it's becoming absolutely crystal clear as South Africa descends into hell, that the real phenomena that is the cause of this is not only the ANC as a party, but those of you who continue to vote it in. And you'll have to forgive me, but my sympathy for those of you who are ardent, staunch ANC members, when you become victims of crime, or when you suddenly experience the ill effects of the politicians you vote for, my sympathy for you sort of begins to wane off. As is perhaps the case with most South Africans who do not vote ANC, but are held captive at the moment. And maybe even as I raise that point, let me actually go after those South Africans who I'm talking about now. The majority of you who are eligible to vote, but do not vote in this country. Let me repeat, a majority of you who are eligible to vote, but do not vote in this country. There's 18 million of you plus, and you are a growing segment in this country. You have the power, much like that character Thanos in the Avengers movie. You have the power in one election to literally snap your fingers and see the ANC disappear. But nah, some of you are way too cool to vote. Some of you are apathetic and don't realize actually that the power is in your hands. Yet some of you will be the first to bitch and moan about the ANC. Yeah, that's right. This is a smoke episode. This is a smoke episode. I'm dishing out smoke in all directions. I've got smoke for the ANC voters, and I've got smoke for some of you who are apathetic, who think you're too cool to vote, even though the power is in your hands. And that perfect storm of these two groupings, the staunch ANC member and the non-voter in this country, the perfect storm literally brews itself in what we're seeing right now, in the descent into hell, a hell of crime, and other areas where there is a failure in this country, and it's beginning to affect the ordinary South African, the faith, flag, family, and freedom type South African. We need to start having these conversations very honestly, because people are paying with their lives on these streets. South African streets are red with blood because of poor decisions that not only the politicians make, but to be honest, we as South Africans also make. It's a clown world situation out here where you have cabinet ministers who apportion for themselves, selfish bastards that they are, apportion for themselves some of the highest increases, or rather consistent increases, let me put it that way, that's more accurate, consistent increases for their protection services, for their VIP protection services. Those assholes are the ones who are also now facing literally a crime such as, in this case, being held hostage. So that in reality, no matter how much you spend, you are not immune to the crime. And who really can solve the crime? It's us, the citizenry. It's ridiculous. And by the way, before I wrap up, I will have that conversation about the problem of illegal immigration in this country, and specifically the poor law enforcement at our borders. I'll have that conversation because it's a full conversation, and it's one which, no, I don't come at it because I'm anti-immigrant or I'm anti-foreigners. No. I firmly believe that actually in real terms, this country needs skilled foreign nationals to come in and bridge the gap of where we are deficient of the necessary skills. We definitely need skilled foreign nationals to come here, but what we don't need is the complete lawlessness we often see on our streets, or pardon me, on our borders, and the poor enforcement of the law. which has effects, by the way, on numerous things, both from a humanitarian perspective, the environment, to a whole bunch of things. We'll have that episode on why we need a strong border defense in this country and law enforcement in that particular part of the world. But anyway, I'm gonna move on because I wanna wrap up. So that it becomes an absolutely crystal clear situation. Actually, I had something I wanted to play for you guys. Look at how sad this chap is. Sorry, let me find my stuff. There we go. Even for a cabinet minister, it dawned on him that no amount of bodyguards around you, no amount of the billion plus, I think it's 1.8 or 1.7 billion that the ANC government politicians spend on their VIP security, no amount of that will protect you from the asinine and dumb governance decisions that they make, number one. And those asinine and dumb government decisions will literally come back at them in two folds. One, from their own party faithful, as was the case here, because it was the ANC's military vets, and the other ones, Apla, and I think, I just forget what the other one was. It was their people, effectively, their people who came at them and literally held them hostage. And equally, there is a growing anger in this country of ordinary citizens who are looking to unleash their anger towards these politicians. No amount of bodyguards will save you from that anger as the country descends into more lawlessness. Look at how sad Minister Moiki Kungu, let me quickly search his surname properly. I don't want to butcher the man's surname. Gqeberha, that's right, Gqeberha, Moiki Gqeberha. Look at how sad he is, how bleak he is, where perhaps the bubble of being safe behind VIP protection was burst from him. This was his comments about what happened when they were held hostage.
Good evening. Tonight, myself, Minister Mutiso of Defense, and the Deputy Minister, Thabang Makwetla, we found ourselves in a situation which I consider untenable, legally unacceptable, where we thought we were in a meeting whose intention was to attend to the problems that affect military veterans. We could not agree on how the meeting should take place. We reached a point where I thought we were agreeing that it should adjourn. As we were leaving the meeting, proceeding to the doors, they closed the doors. It is at that point when we realized that we were held hostage. It's a situation which was averted by the security forces very effectively and successfully. We want to thank Minister Gqeberha and all other security forces, whatever branch that was involved, for prompt and timeless intervention and successful in the manner it seems to have been. And we expect the law to follow its course in dealing with the behavior of this nature.
Hey, my God. I do. He movie. This is a movie. This is a movie. Or if you're a gamer like me, it almost feels as if it's one of those cutaway sections between different parts of a game, where some politician. If you played Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, those various cutaways with Kevin Spacey. It feels like you're watching one of those little clips, and you're about to get back into the game with your firearm to fight off either armed combatants on the streets of PE, of whatever origin they are. Because that's what we saw. Well, actually, no, hang on, let me take that back. Technically, you're not going to be able to fight back or even have an arm yourself if the AssHat has his way with his attempt to try and ban ordinary faith flag family and freedom type South Africans from having the right, in my view, a right, what he calls a privilege, but what I call a right, to own a firearm. If he has his way, then, well, good luck to you fighting any criminal off with a firearm. But it does seem as though criminals in this country have no problem sourcing the very firearms that Gqeberha, the AssHat, is trying to ban us from having in order to fight off those criminals. Because those are the scenes that you are seeing on PE. I'm telling you, you are heading into a disaster as this country, my beloved South Africa, descends into the hell that is the chaos, the anarchy, and the lawlessness that we're seeing. All the while, some of you, ooh, woo, I nearly said something. I nearly said something. But some of us in this country continue to vote in the very politicians who you now can see and have been seeing for the past 20 odd years don't give a damn about you and your family and your well-being. But you'll be the first idiot to wear a yellow t-shirt or a red t-shirt or a blue t-shirt, dancing up and down the streets of South Africa, extolling the virtues of these filthy politicians, ignoring the fact that you are stronger as a community, you are stronger as families banding together in a neighborhood, you are stronger as individuals empowered to look after your own life, liberty, and property rights. You ignore all of that in favor of trusting and believing, praising and worshiping these political idiots. Gubi. Ngihamba ngihlekitheka la, ngihleka nosopolitiki. Ekubeni awuboni ukuthi bahleka wena. Bona bahleka wena. But let me close it there. Let me know what you think. Maybe in your part of the world, you've learned that actually you're stronger as a community, you're stronger as families, and that you shouldn't be trusting nor even depending on politicians. Or maybe you haven't learned that lesson yet. Maybe you're still believing that politicians will come and save the day. Whoever your particular favorite politicians are, I don't care. I've told you before. # politicians are trash. I've been saying this on the show. I have faith in you. You, the individual watching this right now, I have more faith in you, your family, and your community to organize yourselves and build a sort of South Africa that is free, prosperous, property-owning, non-racial, and literally a country for all to call home. You have the power to do that. Not the politicians, not the government. You, the individual, your family. And God willing, I will fight this cause until my very last breath. Let me leave it there, guys. Please hit the like button. Let me know. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this one. But yeah, man, please hit that like button and share this video. Let's get more South Africans talking about these issues. Because again, your silence will not help you. Not believing in the devil will not save you from him. That is a simple equation. And I need people to start understanding this as we fight for our liberty, our life, and our property rights. With that being said, thank you for watching, guys. Smash that like button. And yeah, man, it's nearly my Sabbath. It's nearly Shabbat. So I need to do a few final preps before I switch off and log off completely for 25 hours plus to praise Hashem and just thank him for being alive. Thank him for another week. And I hope you do the same too. Take a bit of time, switch off, spend time with friends and family, and yeah, keep the faith, good people. So with that being said, let me say goodbye and remind you, as I do at the end of every video, for you to never trust a commie.